Labour Party criticized President Bola Tinubu's administration for spending 4.3 trillion naira on palliatives and loans, claiming they haven't benefited the masses. They argue that the funds meant to ease the impact of the fuel subsidy removal have not reached ordinary Nigerians. The party highlighted rising inflation and the lack of visible impacts from the palliatives. In contrast, the ruling All Progressives Congress defended their spending, arguing that unless there is a concrete evidence, it's unfair to claim the palliatives did not reach their intended target. They emphasized the importance of opposition in the democracy and suggested a review to ensure the effectiveness of the palliatives measures. The federal government has announced various palliatives measures, including cash distributions and the acquisition of gas-powered buses to mitigate the economic hardship caused by fuel subsidy removal. However, the Labour Party insists that these measures have not materialized for most Nigerians, urging the government to address the economic difficulties urgently. The APC acknowledged the opposition's roles in holding the government accountable, but maintained that their measures aim to alleviate the increase in hardship. Okay, we have been hearing about palliatives. It's not just yesterday. That was yesterday. No, that was on Friday.
Okay. That
we saw in the news in a report where Tinubu is doing a whole lot to make sure that he alleviates this hardship in the country, also fixing some roads and giving a sum of 50,000 to about 100 families in each community in a state. And we were wondering because just a particular community alone, one community is more than 150 families, is more than 100 families. And then we were wondering how that will alleviate the economic hardship caused by fuel subsidy removal. And this is it. The Labour Party are saying that there is no proof, no evidence that this 4.3 trillion has not gotten to ordinary Nigerians. The vulnerables have not even seen something talking about the ordinary Nigerians. So what do you think about their opinion concerning what the president has done so far to alleviate this economic hardship?
Well, in the first place, let's commend Mr. President. In the midst of all these economic challenges, they are still thinking of the people. But I think the people are thinking otherwise. Because if you look at what 4.3 trillion for palliatives, it's enough to use it to open cottage industries. You see, our thinking pattern about empowering the people must change from giving the feeding bottle strategy. And because of the processes they adopt, the agencies they set up to carry out palliatives, it has been said pedestrianly that it does not get to the targeted persons because government agencies are used. The way they get the, how will I put it, the targeted people at times are not sacrosanct, they are compromised. Some politicize it. There are some palliatives that went to places they gave to politicians from the ward and all that level. And again, when it cascades to the ward, some of the ward, even people they are taking them, don't see it. Some people hijack them. There is no anybody really breathing down the throat to make sure that the targeted people. That is why people keep saying very confidently that they've not seen the impact. Because for you, the president has signed that money out. The report is getting is that we have done it. Nigerians are happy. But the real people who are poor, that want to alleviate their situation, don't get it. It is the same government officials, their relations, there are at times few people in their villages, and at times you begin to imagine whether they really procure those things.
Or do they really need these things?
Oh.
There are people cornering these goods.
No. The thing gets back to the market now. If you go to the market, some people even sell this palliative with the bags to buy. Some people, they take it back they just sell it to the people at cheaper rate. They rebag it and bring it to the market, and they say the people have taken it. They are just like they smuggle any other thing. There are a lot of people who don't have integrity. When these things are approved, they see it as their own way of survival. their period of harvest has come. So there is so much integrity issues concerning the way the palliatives are being distributed and the channels. For instance, I'll tell you the last time they were giving how many billion to governors and all that. If a governor is not seeing money, his state economy is bad, you give him that money. He could even divert it to other things until he has done it. So you need to understand that there has to be a review of the processes of how these palliatives are administered. Some will tell you cannot come into my state except you pass it through me. If you set a committee, most of the time the committees are compromised. They take order and work against the original targeted people. So that's why I think that a way of doing it to get to the people is, why don't you be cottage industries? Do, empowerment that the people can be involved. Then at the end, you empower them to go and use whatever you're giving to them to start a living. If you teach a man how to feed, you are feeding for a day. If you teach him how to, fend for himself, you have taught him for life.
But
feed him out.
Dr. Bomanuel, remember that the idea of these palliatives was to alleviate economic hardship caused by subsidy removal. And when you're talking about building industries, you know that is not a project that can come to reality within 2 months or 3 months. So do you think that the people would have been patient enough to wait for the period of time?
No. Okay, let me tell you about the CNG buses. Since Tinubu came and the subsidy was removed, so to say, they've been talking about CNG, but we have not seen it now.
Okay.
So have people died? If you are manufacturing even the bus from anywhere, wouldn't they have finished manufacturing? Is it a airplane? That's the same way we are talking.
Okay.
We are talking of long-term plan because you cannot be bringing out that amount of money every year. It's because the people doing it, they don't think in a strategic manner that they really want to fight poverty. The fact is that you are alleviating something, you want to take a stopgap, just a remedial measure. Does not mean the remedial measure cannot be concrete. For instance, it would have been easier for them if they spend 50 billion or 10 billion building an industry, create capacity. Do you know that what will come out from that industry alone continuously will be able to take care of a lot of people, subsidiary jobs, suppliers, all that, and it is well run. When you give them peanuts that don't even get to that, do you know that some of these palliatives, 5,000? The population of Nigeria eventually get to that. It's not even the 50,000. If you want to go and eat in any restaurant now, a good food, 5,000 cannot give you meal for 3 times. Because by the time you finish eating with water, in some cases it's close to 2,000. A good food. So but if you ask a man, even if he works and every day he earns about 5,000 naira, whether if he's a laborer or anything, and he looks forward to having that 5,000 every day, his life will change. He could decide to be doing this thrift, Akao, and be saving 2,000 every day, take 3,000 to his house. Before you know, he has a savings of close to 100,000 at the end of the month. So you organize his life. At the time, he will be coming out of poverty. He will not be seeing himself as poor because that income is sustainable. Government must begin to think, in another pattern of alleviating poverty, not this handout system that do not even get to the targeted people. If it was getting the one-time thing and all that, it's not getting to them. And the people are not feeling the impact. When they see all this on news, the president saying it, they just feel that it is just a wishful thinking. Because they don't feel it in any way, it does not get to them. But if they are going to get engaged, local government, in a particular act or trade, you can point to them that, look at what we have done. This place is giving you 10,000 naira every month. When you go, at least it's better than you are not earning anything. And you're also learning skills that you can still privately use. Look at the people who maintain our houses, plumbers, a lot of them like that. When they come at times, the amount they tell you, pay them for them to rectify this thing. Because they have been trained, they have an act. Those people will not wait for a stipend. So you turn out a lot of people like that to make them productive. They will even at times be contributing to the economy by paying taxes.
I understand.
So we must rethink and somehow reappraise our pattern. I'm not saying palliatives are not good, but in our system, because of the corruption and other things, and the unseriousness, it looked as if it has failed.